Dave said that kind of started when he left Microsoft in 2000. We knew that at a very young age, we had an amount of money that we could not, nor should we be spending on ourselves. We had this early vision that we should be sharing that and giving back to community. So we set up a supporting foundation and put money there and said, okay, we're going to be philanthropic. We had 2 small young children, but we started on that journey. Most of our giving before then had been donated through United Way. So with our joining SVP, we learned a lot about a lot of different nonprofits, and that really expanded our knowledge about nonprofits and really the good work that was being done in the community. We've almost always given unrestricted gifts. We're very interested in the nonprofits know best what they need, so we've been, so most of our gifts have been unrestricted. When we first started out giving, we probably gave about 16 grants, and now we support over 70 organizations, and we tend to do year-over-year support of those organizations because, as I've heard somebody say, a nonprofit leader say before, you know, you need the money every year because you're doing the good work every year.
So initially when we set up the foundation, we were mostly focused on nonprofits who were supporting education and basic needs. But as we learned more through SVP, as well as just my interaction with nonprofits, and as we became more knowledgeable, we realized that we really needed to be investing more in early learning, as well as all the other family support nonprofits that really help make a family successful for their kids. And you know, I learned that, you know, research shows that like dollars invested in early learning are, you know, way more powerful than trying to remediate issues by the time kids are already in school and struggling. So that was kind of our first shift in our giving.
Kind of doing this tag team. Our second shift was realizing that it's really important to fund the programs that support families and youth and kids, but it's also really important to make the changes in our society that need to be made. So we decided to add in more organizations that were doing that advocacy piece, as well as, you know, not just being tied to C3 dollars. The organization we set up, the foundation we set up, had to have C3 dollars, but that's okay. We had more money in the bank. We could write checks to C4 and PAC. So we also started to expand to advocacy organizations, you know, SVP included, but Progress Alliance. We learned about First Mile that supported BIPOC candidates, and in order to lead change that they knew that they needed to see for their community. So funding of advocacy organizations was really the next kind of shift in our funding.
Then our third focus change kind of started around 2017 when we became more aware of how traditional philanthropy was really not serving the BIPOC community well, and how you know, the funding just doesn't go to the organizations that are in traditional white-led orgs. And so that made us pause, and so we decided we really needed to analyze our own giving. And we saw that, yeah, we were mostly giving to traditional white-led orgs. And so we've made it a real point since then. We've really changed our focus. So we've added a lot of new organizations in the last 4 years, and over 90% of them are BIPOC-led. As well as we've begun to invest much more funds into pooled funds that are actually controlled by the BIPOC community, and they get the decision-making power on how that money should be spent, because they know best what their community needs, and it's not our role to dictate what the solutions are. They know, so we want to empower them.
The next big shift that we had, which probably started around 2017, probably was accelerated in 2019, 2020, was this realization is that we wanted to spend our wealth in our lifetime. We do not want to, we have 2 kids, they'll receive small amount to help pay for buy houses. They will receive a little bit, some of our family, but we are going to spend this wealth. And guess what? Our wealth grows. It keeps on growing in the stock market. So we end up having more money than we have reason to spend ourselves. And with this kind of this idea that we feel obligated to share that wealth and to shift power, and with money comes power, shift that wealth. So we have this pledge to ourselves that we will spend it within our lifetime. And we have conversations about how do you do that and how fast do you ramp up. So one example is that in 2023, we donated 10 times as much as we gave in 2014. So we have this ramp, this ramp up. Some of it is because we were able to give some of these larger gifts to these pooled funds. So then that really makes us feel that we don't have to be the ones to decide where it goes. And so that's kind of that shift.
So over the years, we've always strived to continue to learn and evolve our philanthropy. And we also have really tried to be public and share our views and lend our voice around trust-based philanthropy, wealth inequality, wage equity, excuse me, and investing in communities and leaders of color. And so I'm sure as our journey will continue, we will continue to learn and help support the nonprofits.
And just one last thing, Laura, when you introduced yourself, it made me think, so as we have a relationship with many different executive directors, mostly on the east side of East King County, we have these conversations with them. It's like, we believe in racial equity. We think you should be having conversations about that at your board level, in your staff level. We believe in wage equity. We think that we need to pay those who are doing the work a living wage, and they should have benefits. So the board chair that I'm on, we have that conversation. We drastically increase their wages. And so we're having those conversations in order for the executive directors to know that we as a funder believe in those. So we just want to kind of support them. So